Hello, everybody, here for the Hammer Gaming Channel. Welcome back to Kaiserreich and to Serbia. It has been a while since we played as Serbia, but they've now had a little old rework. And yes, I'm very interested to see together against Austria. This could be fun. Austria could now be getting dicked on every single playthrough, which will definitely bring a smile to my face. Farming subsidies. Let's go ahead and do this first. The Austrians took a lot from us, and this included swaths of livestock from our farmers. This government initiative seeks to further subsidise our farmers to allow our agricultural sector to return to pre-Weltkrieg levels of production. Monthly population plus 50% and minus 50 political power. Not a bad start. We only have 6 divisions right now. We'll get them on the Bulgarian border because they will be getting invaded. I'm going to use the level 2 guy because he's got just a better wee thing on him. Actually, he's not awful. He's just old. And let's use Dusan, if I've said his name correctly. Research. Let's start off with the usual. And let's start off with subsidies. Right. Oh, the assassination of Archduke Ferdinand by Serb nationalists in 1914 proved to be catalyst. Began Weltkrieg. Expecting an easy campaign, Austria forcibly managed to occupy Serbia itself in late 1915 because of the entrance of Bulgaria into the war. After the war, Serbia's southern territories were handed over to Bulgaria, while the remainder was kept in the Austrian occupation until 1926, when the Austrians were forced to withdraw their troops due to ethnic tensions elsewhere in the empire, and war hero Petar Bovic was appointed regent. There he is. Okay, so that's what happened to Serbia after the Weltkrieg. At least they have a somewhat amount of independence now. Kornilov has stormed Moscow. So yes, Romania's also got a rework, which I will be coming to probably right now as well. I think Poland does as well. But I'm not saying much. I don't know if more opens up, but we'll see. We'll see. Edward's been crowned king. Right, we only do have one national spirit right now, and it's Austria's watchful eye. Though on paper the Austrians left Serbia over a decade ago, they are still there, keeping their eye on people that caused the Weltkrieg with the slaying of their Archduke Franz Ferdinand. And they want the Habsburg could send their army over the Danube and into Belgrade, ending our fragile independence. Yeah, we don't want that. So we will also suffer from Black Monday when it kicks off. So we have emergency economic relief. So we will have to do that. Right now, let's go ahead and invest in Zadrugar. Part of our agricultural mechanization process, we need the industry to support it. As demand for tractors, spare parts, and maintenance sharply rise. Thankfully, the Serbian company Zadrugar specialises in this industrial sector. With the extra help from the state, will be able to meet these growing demands with more ease. So, production efficiency tech, 150% research bonus, and 1 civilian factory. And the Austrian Empire has withdrawn from Italy. Now, I think Italy actually could join us, because we have Serbian flag, Romanian flag. I would say that's a Polish flag and an Italian flag. So that is a lot of guys getting involved. 3 fronts, and that's just going to hopefully destroy them. Anyways, ever since the end of the Weltkrieg, our economy has been a troubled one. The immense devastation left a huge void for us to fill. Our industry was obliterated and a whole generation lost to the horrors of war. Nonetheless, we managed to partially recover under Petar. A stable, though weakened economy has been reconstructed based primarily on the kind of lucrative agricultural exports that sustained us before the war. The collapse of the German stock market has undone all of that hard work. Evaporation of the biggest markets for our produce is beginning to collapse our largest economic sector, and our lack of industrialization has exposed the underlying weakness of the recent economic reforms. The only thing that has staved off a complete collapse, as seen in Germany, is Serbia's relative isolation, which has helped protect some key industries. Finance Minister and Vice President of the flagging Belgrade Stock Exchange, Milan Stojadinovic, is preparing a series of austere emergency measures to stabilise the dinar and get the economy back on track, which are expected to be approved by the regent when they are ready. Minus 20 stability, minus 30 construction speed, minus 15 factory output. So it's not the worst one to see. However, it's still not great. So yeah, I'm thinking when we go after Austria, the Italian Republic and Poland also get the opportunity to join in. Austria withdraws from the border. Though the occupation ended in 1926, the threat of the Common Army has remained. Vienna has had an army posted along our border ever since the Pan-Slavic revolt diplomatically ended with the formation of Illyria. A nation disarmed, Serbia has had no choice but to keep quiet, not daring to provoke the wrath of the Habsburgs. But this threat might be changing. Black Monday has clearly upset the balance of power within the dual monarchy. Since today, the Austrians have begun withdrawing the bulk of their army from Serbia, like they did in Italy a few weeks ago. We don't yet know the full reasoning as to the withdrawal. Have ethnic conflicts begun to flare up like they did in the 20s? Or is there something more sinister at play? Whatever the reason, has left the Vojvoda breathing a little easier at night, knowing that Serbia's fragile independence is a little bit more secure. It's a bit more secure. Which is good. Yeah, they are not in a good position. And the French loyalists have restored the monarchy. Which one? Bourbon or Napoleon? It is Napoleon. So, Bulgaria. I'm hoping we can deal with Bulgaria quite swiftly. I haven't even looked at our production line. Oh gosh, it's awful. I guess if we can get that into production, I'll be happy. Actually, do you know what? I want one onto fighters straight away. Do we have any military factories that we can pick up soon? Oh, that modifies Black Monday as well. Grand. That's cool. Right, let's do the emergency economic relief. Black Monday has hit the entirety of Europe severely, and Serbia has sadly been no exception. Emergency measures must be enacted quickly to help those poor Serbs that have fallen into hard times to no fault of their own. Until the economy gets back on track, we must ensure that as few Serbs as possible are out starving in the streets. So we get 5 stability, 10 construction speed, and 5 factory output. Nice. And I've just cancelled it, haven't I? What a tit. There we go. So that's going to reduce it to 15, 20, and 10. Stephen X has been elected as new Pope. Now, I'm just wondering, where's the Ottoman rework? When's it coming? I'm sure that was teased like ages ago. Last month, the slow Austrian withdrawal from the border left many stunned and confused, and the new arrangements appear to have remained. The Habsburgs facing their comeuppance in the name of the increased national interest, they're left merely a skeleton crew guarding our borders. It's clear that their once everlasting watch over Belgrade has moved on, and we're finally free of Vienna's yoke after 20 years of oppression. What do we do with this newfound freedom? Peter, our long-standing regent and Vojvoda, has been asked a million questions and has few answers to give. Knows that Austria will likely be back in greater numbers, so our window of opportunity is small. The window has been shrunk further still by the impact of Black Monday, which left us also weakened. He can't appear weak and ineffective in the face of this golden opportunity, and thus as expected, Peter will make political moves in the coming weeks to cement Serbia's independence. We are free from Austria, for now at least. Austria's watchful eye is gone, which means we can now start to mobilise our economy and change conscription laws, as we were unable to do so with that national spirit. The Montenegrin gambit? Montenegro has been a region of Serbian interest with an extensive population of Serbs and importantly a coast with a shipbuilding industry for naval affairs. In a Velkrime, Montenegro and Serbia fought side by side against the Habsburg hordes and we shared the crushing loss. Montenegro has remained occupied by Vienna while we were able to secure our freedom and is currently increasingly agitated within the Croat-dominated nation of Illyria. Even though autonomy has been given to Montenegro, the Montenegrin peoples see us as brothers and they are running sympathies for our unification. The cadre of politicians and military officials have met with Regent Bovic with a daring proposal. Their ultimate plan is a union between Montenegro and Serbia, done through political intrigue rather than military might. When the regional parliament declares independence following a false flag incident of Montenegrin citizens who were legally forming a union with Serbia. That way, an Austrian intervention would have little legitimacy, and the Habsburg menace would have no choice but to watch it unfold. Many leading Montenegrin politicians are amenable to the idea, with the Serbian Montenegrin Unionist People's Party long being dominant despite Illyrian and Austrian pressure. The plan is no doubt extremely risky, but potentially very rewarding. The Vojvoda, as I'm probably saying that wrong every time, has promised to entertain the proposal and has spoken with his trusted advisors about how realistic Austria not interfering would be. I believe Kaiser Karl, for all of his many faults, would likely prefer a peaceful revolution to such a crisis than a bloody one, but it's not an absolute certainty. Bovic, or Regent, will have to make the final decision. Should we pursue the Montenegrin gambit? Do it. Do it. I'm just going to sit on the border just in case. And we're dead. It's only taken us 11 minutes to die. Chaos in Podgorica. Appears the situation in Montenegro is a house of cards. All it requires is a little push to fall apart completely. After the growing unrest in the region, our subtle intervention and further stoking anti-Vienna sentiment proved to be all we needed to put the plan in action. A few days ago, the apparent murder-suicide of a Serbian family and a Croat soldier with syndicalist sympathy sent Podgorica into chaos. The military in the area blamed for the incident had little effect on quelling protests. Eventually, order broke down in the region capital. Radovic, the veteran leader of the People's Party in Montenegro, subsequently, the Montenegrin Parliament declared Montenegro's secession from the Illyrian Union. A few hours later, another act would be brought in to create a formal South-Slavic union between Serbia and Montenegro, while the Illyrian army would be permitted safe passage out of now Serbian lands. In just 6 hours, Montenegro had legally annexed itself into Serbia, uniting the two nations that had been apart for so long. Of course, they know the truth about the situation. It was not the Croat soldier who shot that family, but rather agents of one of many Serbian secret societies that were inspired by the famous Black Hand. Additions to bills Radovic passed were planned weeks ago. They will check to be as legally watertight as possible. Unexpectedly, this course of events will likely bolster the support the moderate democratic parties, like the Democrats and Radicals, have in Serbia, likely further eroding the National Party's control of the nation. The day is a cause for celebration, for our brothers have been liberated. Nice. Wee bit of land. Excellent. Is it actually a core? No. Oh, telegram from Vienna. For the last couple of days, Bovic has been worriedly waiting for an Austrian response to the events in Montenegro. Today, he has received an answer. And thankfully to us, it's a positive one. Kaiser Karl has sternly criticised the Union, claiming Montenegro has undermined the decade of investment and opportunities received in the current area. However, he has maintained his resolve for a peaceful revolution like we had speculated. Austria, for now at least, given up their claim on Montenegro and will be conducting a military intervention into our lands. Well, not, sorry. That being said, the telegram has made one threat, that being incidents against Croatian or Bosnian citizens within the Serbian Montenegrin Union was seen as incidents against citizens of the Empire and will be dealt with as such. Let them shout. Okay, now that we've got that under our control, Montenegro's ours, let's get back onto the Bulgarian border. And I think what we need to do is actually start getting ready for war. I don't want to leave it too late. Military Reform Council. That's actually pretty nice. That is also pretty nice. Gosh, we've got some nice wee upgrades here. Serbian Mountain Corps. Leg Infantry. Mountain bonuses. We get some forts. More enhancers. Pretty good. Oh, nice. Modernized Belgrade. While the capital has recovered from the destruction of the Velkraj, Belgrade remains relatively underdeveloped compared to other European capitals. More effort and investment are required to bring the great city into the modern world. 100% research bonus for industry, and then Belgrade gets 2 bonus slots, which allow it to get 1 factory of both military and civilian. So, happy days there. Let's go ahead and get Concentrated Industry 1. Now, what are you up to? You've got an economic crash as well. Gosh, does everybody feel the economic crash now? Everybody gets destroyed by it. Oh, really? Well, at least it's not Tom Mann. I get sick of seeing him, but we're going to see probably Scotland and Wales popping up now. Yeah, home rule. Yeah, devolution. Wales and Scotland. Well, that's fine. Union Britain can do that if they want. You've still got that's a decent sized army. Mine's only 60,000. That's pathetic. You know, we need to get you exercising. Let's go ahead and get improved machine tools. What I also want to do is start working on land doctrine, I think. Gosh, we're not really building anything really quickly, are we? Oh well. Maybe the Ottomans might get involved as well, who knows? Hopefully. And then we could strike them as well. Well, actually saying that, the plan. Okay, Serbia will never get its heroes. Grand, 20 political power. Our plan is Bulgaria, then Austria. That's where we're beginning. Right, I'm not gonna bother with you. Okay, let's do the rural credit banks. Simply put, credit is lacking in rural areas, often concentrated in urban areas instead. Rural credit banks are a growing presence in agrarian countries, and Serbia is no exception. These banking systems, creating to give poor peasants access to much needed financial support and credit, require increased government support to help grow rural economies. Right, we're going to modify Black Monday by 5, 10 and 5, and farming subsidies gets production efficiency growth plus 10, and rural credit grants is unlock decisions. Nice. White Sun over China. I'm just wondering when we'll be able to choose. Now, I am going to be going with dun 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 the Return of the Crown Prince. Just because I want to encourage Yugoslavism, which reduce the cost of integration decisions, which seems very, very sensible to get. We still get to do maintain military dominance. We don't get to do this little bit down here, but we do get to do the Monument of the Unknowns to the Unknown Soldier, which gives us bonus attack and defense of core territory, which will be grand. Glory to the King, and then the education reform. We also do the Congress of Belgrade, so we get to do these ones here. We don't get to do these ones, which is fine by me. Montenegro is now of course state of Serbia. Brunelli Union. Connect the railways. Basically, that's the kind of investment in Montenegro. Right, form merchant navy as well. Grand. Germany East Asia is at war with Indochina. The revolt has begun. Right. Resume cash crop exportation. Serbia retains a very agrarian economy, but its isolation and the recent economic troubles did severe damage to its major imports. The economy market prices largely stabilised. We can resume agricultural exports and invest these profits. Goodbye, Black Monday. Good, and what we can do? Early mobilisation. Right. I'm wanting to change these up to 20 combat with, get the artillery in. That's what I want to do. Wait, what is this? Maximum support. Every country only has ability to support a certain number of individual military divisions before their economy and infrastructure struggle to maintain them. I can only have 11? Ah, your tree has opened up now. Belgian Declaration of Independence. Don't exactly have much to do you? Well, that's cool. Congress of Arel, how did that go? Should have read it. I don't think it went well. Wallonian Luxembourg is still... well, it's not under their control. Gosh, we can only have 11 divisions. What the hell does everyone else get to use? That will make things very interesting. I don't know if that's always been a thing, but I've not noticed it, but I doubt it. I would have noticed that. Construction speed and factory output. That could be useful. Develop mines. Let's form a military council. Proposed by General Milan Nedic in years gone by, a foreign council would go a long way to expand and modernise our fledgling army. The Austrians off our back. It is time to follow up on Nedic's proposal and commence his reforms. So 1% recruitable population, 10 recovery rate, 10 reinforce rate. Seems all good to me. Rural credit grants in Belgrade. What does it get us? A building slot. Becomes developed rural region. Building slot, develop rural region. Choose next area to integrate. Interesting. Anyways, let's go ahead and do that. Let's make Morava a developed area. So does it just becomes developed rural region? I take it it's going to show something up on there. Okay, how's Romania doing? Great game, legionary dominance. Oh ho ho! So the legionnaires may be coming through. Goodbye, Carl. Goodbye now. Right, let's start working on the infantry stuff. I can actually go ahead and swap in one of you. I don't actually think we've got artillery in production yet, though. Oh no, we do. We do. I do want to get fighters in the air as well. You don't have any planes. That's me. What an idiot. 50 to 102. I don't think I'm going to be able to catch that. Saying that, Romania does have an air force, so that's pretty good. We lose stability there. More stability loss. Why does nobody like the king? Norway's joined the Third National. And Life Kuomintang has been defeated. Gonna grab Serbian Mountain Corps. Train the Balkans are very mountainous, especially in lands we wish to reclaim. To assist in the wars to come, the Reform Council is planning the raising of a new dedicated mountain corps. Equipped with the best weaponry and led by the best generals, they'll be our most elite forces. 4 mountaineer divisions will be deployed. Nice! So this is how we get an army. Enables expanded engineer corps. We need to get the forts as well, definitely. Add technology motorized infantry. Not bad. Conspiracies abound. Oh. For the last decade, Serbian politics had been more and less stable underneath the Vojvoda. The Yugoslavianism and perceived royalism of the defeated People's Radical Party was deemed too dangerous by the Austrians, so Bovic built his government on a new party, the conservative, centralist Serbian National Party, supported by the military establishment and various right-wing dissenting groups. For the past 10 years, political repression and a liberal democracy have worked to consolidate the SNS and subsequently Bovic control over the nation. But something had ruined our carefully built but slowly waning establishment, and that event was Black Monday. Though we're on the road to recovery, many have lost the faith in the National Party, even under the new youthful leadership of former mayor of Nice, Dragica Svetkovic. On one side, the Democrats and Radicals have recouped some of the supporters that left them at the end of the occupation and are now presenting more cohesive opposition to Bovic's. On the other hand, the presence of many secret and usually royalist societies remain concerned over the Vojvoda's control of the armed forces. As rumours circle in Belgrade, it's clear Peter Bovic's hold over this nation has been weaker. Okay, we're definitely going to have something kicking off to unlock this soon. Anyways, guys, I'm going to leave that episode there, so thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I shall be back with some more Serbia very soon. Till then, take care, cheer bye, the now.